I, 24 female, am an identical twin. Very few can tell my sister and me apart if you don't know us well. For the sake of this story, I'll call my sister Madison. Growing up, we were poor. It was a constant struggle for my parents. I started working as soon as I could to help contribute financially towards bills. Madison was more focused on how she looked, and honestly, a gold digger. I was more career-focused. I moved to the city to live with my cousin for better job opportunities. I ended up getting a good job and decided to stay in that city, and I would send back money for my parents and grandparents, who also lived with my parents, which allowed them to move to better housing. Or so I thought. I would visit whenever I could. Every time I visited, Madison always had a new boyfriend. According to my parent, she lived with her boyfriend and didn't want to get a job, so she lived off her boyfriends. 4 days ago, my parents rang me up in a panic, saying they needed me to come home. I asked why, and they said, "Your sister cheated on her fiance, and we need you to cover for her." This was the first time I heard about Madison being engaged. They went on to say that he was rich and had been allowing them to stay for free in one of his parents' rental properties because of Madison. This shocked me because they told me that the money I'd been sending them was paying for the home that they'd been living in. After I blew up about them lying to me about the money I'd been sending them, they reluctantly admitted they had been giving it to Madison. I was so angry I said no and ended the call. Ever since then, my parents and Madison constantly tried to get in contact with me and told me that if I didn't say it was me that her fiance caught cheating, then my parents would be homeless and that I would ruin the better life that her fiance can provide for her and them. I've been thinking about it a lot, and I don't want my grandparents to be homeless. But at the same time, I don't want to be the one to take the blame for being the one who cheated on a married man and then ruin my reputation back home. Am I the idiot for not pretending to be my twin and covering up her cheating on her fiance? Geez, girl, if you cover up your twin, you're the biggest fool walking. You should message the fiance and tell him the truth about what's going on. Your parents have to learn, and you need to come to terms with the fact that your parents are not good people. They could have had a residence if they were using the money as they told you they were. So you need to pull up your big girl panties and put your foot down. They messed around and found out. You don't owe any of them a thing. Block them right after you tell the fiance it was his fiance, not you. Block everybody who says you're making your parents homeless. That's Madison's doing. Trashy person. Can we also just take the poor fiance into account too? Just because you have money doesn't mean people are entitled to abuse your generosity, cheat on you, and lie to you. If Madison had it so good, then she's a fool for jeopardizing her life, her parents' lives, and her grandparents' lives. That's an exception level of selfishness. OP needs to leave the whole situation alone and stop sending money to anyone. Yeah, stop sending them money. These are your parents. They have 20 plus more adult years on the planet than you. They have a lot more practice being adults. They've had many more years to develop wealth and resources. Most people are financially stable as they get older because they learn and grow with money, because they don't have to start new all the time, because they build equity in a house. Your parents have had their adult years. Now they're trying to destroy yours because they have needs. When do you get to live your own life? Why are you responsible for them, like you're the adult and they're the child? I agree. Your parents and sister are liars, cheats, lazy, entitled, and have no morals. If you go with their lies, you would be no better than them. If you have a conscience, it'll ruin you to have this big secret or lie over your head for the rest of your life. Your parents had no problem deceiving you and giving your hard-earned money for your sister to enjoy life doing nothing and messing around. Your dear sister can be homeless. It's her mess. Find your backbone and stop being taken for a fool by your parents and sister. I, male 28, live in an apartment that I got from my uncle. The apartment has 2 bedrooms, so I rented the room as I don't need the extra space. My roommate, male 24, has been living with me for a little over a year and a half. He's been dating his girlfriend, 24, I believe, for 5 years or so. She's lived in another house and has 4 roommates. As her house was more crowded, my roommate asked me if it was okay if she stayed over sometimes. I agreed since I don't have a problem with it, as long as they're respectful. We haven't had any major issues until now, but his girlfriend got pregnant, he told me, and I was like, oh, great, congratulations. He did try to bring up a conversation to see if I allowed her to move in with him or us, but I said no. I work from home most of the time, and I don't want to deal with a third person or a newborn in the future. He asked if she could still come and stay some nights as before, and I said that was fine. She's 4 months or so into her pregnancy. Well, these last 3 months, she's become very annoying whenever she's staying over. What I mean is that I get woken up in the middle of the night, early morning, too many times because she was running to the bathroom at the end of the hallway. I don't use that bathroom. I have my own connected to my room, but my guests sometimes use it, and they've said that it's dirty and messy. She's staying over a lot more nights than she used to before. The biggest problem is that she's developed really bad nausea. Even now, she's still having morning sickness, which I believe should have stopped already. We've had many issues regarding food because my roommate asked me to stop having some foods that get her sick. I told her that this was not her house, and she had no right to come and expect me to change my diet because of her. They took that very badly. I continued my life as usual. She always complains and runs to the bathroom when I cook. There have been a couple of times where she's actually thrown up on the floor too, which is disgusting. I'm sick of it, to be honest. So I told my roommate that either she stops coming over, she stops complaining, or he moves out. I would give him a month or 2 if he needs it to find somewhere else to live, but I'm tired of having his girlfriend over. She's annoying me. He, of course, got very upset and said that she wouldn't annoy me so much if I were more understanding of her condition. He said that they're not in a comfortable position to move, that she's sick and needs his support, and all of that. Some of my friends and coworkers and family are on my side, but some others said that I'm behaving like a total idiot and that I could easily change my diet for a couple of months. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She doesn't live there, and you've made it clear you don't want an infant in the house since you work from home. While you might be a little more accommodating while she's there, your roommate and his girlfriend need to move into their own space to prepare for a baby. They chose to get pregnant and stay pregnant, so they need to adult up and prepare for bringing another life into this world that they'll need to support. While I know you can't control morning sickness, she should be able to make it to a bathroom or a sink or a garbage can to throw up. I've never had a guest do it on my floor multiple times. It would be better if she did that at her own place, which she's paying for. Oh, and everyone telling him to accommodate his roommate's girlfriend is more than welcome to do so themselves. Dude, consult a lawyer. There are definitely protections in place regarding housing discrimination for having a child. It's his child. This can be the baby's primary residence. Even if she doesn't move in, find out your rights sooner rather than later regarding not re-signing his lease. And it would be easier before the baby. Evict him now so that that's not an issue. Or roll the dice and take your chances, but then be ready to take what's coming to you. My female 27, husband 36, was previously married and had a tween daughter, Mary. We got married and now we have a girl who will soon have a birthday, pre-tween, and a boy who's a preschooler, and I'm also pregnant. He has custody over the girl on weekends and shared holidays, and she lives with her mom, a very unpleasant woman, by the way. The girl has some behavioral issues. I've talked about this with my husband, who also sees it. She usually refuses to listen to us when we tell her what to do, like to do your homework, need to tidy up your bedroom, etc. It hasn't been so much as to be a big problem or worry until recently. About a month or so ago, my husband and I were inside with our youngest. We were trying to get him to nap since he was fussy, and I wasn't feeling well. So we asked both girls to play outside with their toys. A while later, we hear crying, and our daughter comes in. She tells us that her sister was being mean to her. but Mary says she wasn't. So we talked to both girls, and my daughter said that her sister wanted to play with her Barbie, but my daughter didn't want to because she was making an outfit with Play-Doh. Mary said that she'd ruin the doll, and my daughter said that she wouldn't, and that she'd get new dolls on her birthday anyway. So Mary said that she'd ruin her because she's stupid. They fought. I have no reason not to believe my daughter. She's always good and doesn't pick fights with anyone. However, Mary does. I told her that it was unacceptable to do something like that to her sister, and she told me that I wasn't her mom, and I couldn't tell her what to do. My husband and I tried to tell her why what she had done was wrong. She got angry and said that she hated me. She also attempted to hit my stomach. My husband was very angry too, so we made her pack her stuff and drove her back to her mother's house since I didn't want her here anymore. Her mom, as always, said that it was my fault and that her daughter had probably not done anything. I asked my husband to talk to his ex so they could find a solution for this girl so she'd behave better. I asked him if he could go see her at her mom's house for a couple of weeks because I honestly didn't feel right having her at our home with what she did. He agreed, so she hasn't returned these last few weeks. However, our daughter will have a birthday in 2 weeks, and we've been planning a party for her. I sent the invitations to her classmates. My husband told me to write one for Mary so we could give it to her this weekend. I told him that I wasn't planning on inviting her. She's a literal bully, and I won't have another child bully my daughter or my son. He told me I was being ridiculous. We got into an argument. He told me she's just a child too, and my hormones and protective instincts are messing with me. Also, he'll get Mary to apologize to our daughter and me, and that should be the end of it. I don't agree at all. I think that she definitely needs some help because she's gone too far this time. Am I the idiot? Wasn't there more than one doll? Or does poor Mary have to play with rocks? The girl, as you so nicely put it, is a tween and is probably adjusting to changes no child wants to face. 2 homes, a new family. Who knows how the split went? You are the idiot for not taking into consideration that a child needs patience and understanding. You're pushing a little girl to the side without a second thought. So yeah, you and your husband, if he's allowing you to push his child away, suck. Exactly. Her siblings get to live with both their parents, and she gets to bounce between homes. And in one of them, her stepmother doesn't like her, and you can bet she knows this. The parents don't seem to get along. Again, all the bio mom's fault because she's unpleasant. I'm sure OP is perfect. Poor kid doesn't 100% belong anywhere. OP, your disdain for this child is oozing from this story. You're like the original evil stepmom material from the first edition of Cinderella. You're right to leave her with her mom, though. Don't push her to coexist with someone who doesn't care much for her. Me, 27 male, and my wife, 27, have been together for 4.5 years and married for 2. We discussed kids before marriage and both agreed that we wanted kids. A couple of weeks after we got married, we started trying for a baby, and she got pregnant but had doubts about having kids at the time. We discussed it for a bit, and she said she just wasn't ready yet. I didn't push back and let her decide since she's the one who's pregnant. 3 weeks ago, she got pregnant again. I was excited, but she still wasn't sure. She said she wanted to wait a little longer, and I tried asking her for a timeline, but she just said when she felt ready, she'd let me know. I asked her if she still wanted kids at all, and she just gave me a non-answer, where she said she didn't know if she wanted kids anymore and wouldn't elaborate. I didn't want to pressure her to do anything, but I told her that I wanted to have kids and that I needed to rethink our relationship if this was the route she wanted to take. She got the procedure done, and I started the divorce proceedings a few weeks later. Some of our mutuals are saying that I'm wrong to separate because of this, and she's called me a few times sobbing. I want to be with her, but having kids and starting a family is really important to me, and it feels like she's been too unsure and unclear about what she wants and has been stringing me along in the process. Am I the idiot for divorcing my wife? Yeah, definitely not the idiot. This relationship isn't going to work out. You both want different things. Just end it and move on. Then find someone that actually does want what you want. Her not wanting kids is okay, but what's not okay is her stringing you along with non-answers and crappy communication just to keep you with her. Are you not allowed to feel betrayed that you entered a marriage, assuming you shared common goals, only to find out she lied? Exactly. She got pregnant twice since you've been married, but ended it both times because she didn't feel ready, even though you were actively trying both times. If you aren't on the same page when starting a family, I see no point in continuing the relationship. I question the mindset of a woman who actively tries to get pregnant and then changes her mind twice. I think it's good not to have kids with someone like that. This isn't normal behavior. Dude, you're doing the right thing. End it. Find someone who wants the same things as you. I did, and I don't regret divorcing him at all. I am so much happier with a partner who's honest about their life plan. My daughter, let's call her Sophie, used to be best friends with Kat. They used to be best friends in elementary school, but ever since middle school, they've started to grow apart. The school split the kids in advance, and it's normal for math and science. All other classes are still together. My daughter was placed in advance, and Kat was placed in normal. No big deal, they still see each other in school. They were still close friends until group projects. They have multiple group projects, and kids get to pick their partners. Kat and Sophie usually work together, which is when issues start. Sophie would get frustrated that the work Kat did wasn't correct. I told her to turn it in without fixing it, and she got a bad grade on that assignment. After that, Sophie went through a period of fixing stuff. After a while, I told her to stop doing group projects with her. So they stopped doing group projects together, and the friendship blew up. So they're not friends anymore. It's Sophie's birthday, and invites were sent out. Kat wasn't on the invite list my daughter made. I got a call from her mom asking why she wasn't invited. I informed her that they aren't really friends anymore. She said to invite her anyway, since this is just a spat. I told her the people invited were people my daughter wanted at the event. This went on for a while, and it came to why they weren't friends anymore. I said it was due to both girls' intelligence levels, and I tried explaining the group project issue. She angrily accused me of calling her kid dumb. I never said that. She called me a jerk. Edit. I told her they weren't friends anymore, but she kept asking why. That's why I brought up the issue of why they weren't friends anymore. I wasn't gonna lie. Also, she should already know why their friendship blew up. The kids were arguing about it constantly for a while. You are the idiot, and in such a way that I worry the universe might collapse around you. First, intelligence isn't a thing the way you think. There's real opportunity to teach her to respond with compassion and humility, which would have given her valuable characteristics and lessons about relating to other people in school and the workplace. Instead, she'll really struggle if she repeats this. Go look up the process approach to learning and ask yourself if you're setting her up to learn or to stop learning as soon as she feels she's better than someone else. Hard disagree. How is it wrong for the daughter not to want to work with someone who's messing up her group project, leaving her with more work? There's nothing wrong with her picking another group to work with. It isn't rude. She isn't entitled to work with the other girl, and it's normal for middle schoolers to grow apart. It's probably good that they don't do school projects together anymore. The only idiot here is OP for calling the kid stupid, a really immature response from an adult. I said it was due to both girls' intelligence levels. Oof. How can you even type that out and still wonder if you're the idiot? Learn some tact for crying out loud. You are the idiot. You called her kid dumb without calling her kid dumb. All you had to say was, as far as you know, they aren't friends anymore, that they started having a downfall over group projects and have just drifted apart.